All right, so we've got a ton to unpack today. Like, seriously, a whole mountain of pop culture trends to sort through.
Yeah, feel like I need my metaphorical shovel ready
Wow.
to dig in.
Exactly. And we're talking everything, from superhero fatigue to, like, those TikTok dances that seem to launch careers overnight. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's kind of wild how these trends sometimes feel like they're contradicting each other.
Right.
Like we keep hearing about superhero fatigue,
Right.
but then a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine, that's like pure superhero,
Yeah.
breaks pre-sale records. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Right. It's like, how do we make sense of all of that? That's what I'm hoping we can do. On one hand, you've got these massive, like, big budget films like Avengers 7 and Aquaman 3 that didn't really do that well.
Underperforming, yeah.
Yeah, and there's even been talk about, like, studios moving away from those AI-generated sequels. I mean, who knows what's going to happen there, but...
It's interesting, though, because at the same time, like you said, Deadpool and Wolverine, you know, they kill it. And nostalgia, I feel like nostalgia is a big factor, like it keeps bringing people back for more.
Right, even if it's like the same heroes, but just with slightly different costumes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like people want something new, but they also want it to be familiar,
Yeah.
like comfort food.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And I remember there was this film critic, they said that superhero fatigue isn't real. Like, it's not the superheroes, it's just bad storytelling.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe it's not about getting rid of superheroes altogether.
Right?
Maybe we just need, like, better stories, better writing,
Yeah.
new ways to, like, make these franchises exciting again.
Yeah, so maybe the question isn't like, are superheroes dead? It's
Exactly.
more like, what's next? Like, what does that next generation of superhero stories look like?
Right.
What do you think out there, listener? Are you, like, feeling that superhero fatigue? Are you ready for more?
I think that's a good question. But we're going to shift gears now. We're going to move to something that is, like, for sure shaping, I mean, it's undeniable. It's shaping the culture, right?
Absolutely.
TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's not just those dance crazes anymore.
Oh, it's so much more.
Yeah. It's impacting music, fashion, even the way we talk.
Yeah, and what's crazy is how fast it happens. Like, things go viral in, like, a snap.
Oh, I know.
Remember that Sabrina Carpenter song, Espresso? That song, like, blew up, like, went straight to the top, all thanks to TikTok.
I love that song.
And it all started with this dance,
Yeah.
created by this, like, 17-year-old TikToker.
Oh, wow.
We're talking, like, 450 million views.
Yeah, crazy.
And suddenly, everyone's, like, using that old-school Gen Z slang again.
That's so wild. And they even did, like, a Starbucks collab, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it does make you wonder, like, how long does TikTok fame last?
Like, can a song that blows up on TikTok actually turn into a career?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
is it just, a flash in the pan?
Yeah,
Like, it comes and goes so fast.
exactly.
I mean, TikTok is great. You get a ton of exposure, but things change so quickly, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough to build, like, a real fan base
Yeah.
when the platform is all about what's new and what's next.
Yeah, that's true. Like, think about Taylor Swift. She's been building her fan base for, like, years and years.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
And she uses social media, like, really well, like, to connect with her fans and even, stir up a little controversy every now and then.
Oh, yeah, remember that Tortured Poets thing?
Oh, yeah.
Total diss track.
I mean, come on. She's got this whole world built around her music and her fans. Like, they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, totally. And that's something you can't really build on TikTok, like, overnight.
Yeah, you can't. So, I mean, maybe, for artists, it's about using TikTok strategically, like, take advantage of how viral it can be.
For sure.
But then also, like, put in the work to connect with your fans on a deeper level,
Totally, yeah.
So it goes beyond just, like, the app. What do you think, listener? Is TikTok fame, is it a blessing or is it a curse for musicians?
Something to think about, right? Okay, let's switch it up again. Let's talk reality TV. It's like everyone's obsessed with these shows. I mean, I'm guilty of it too,
Oh, yeah, me too, for sure.
Like, whether it's all that crazy drama on The Traitors, season 3, Or Love Island USA, which is just like wild with the whole polyamorous throuple casting, right?
Yeah, that was a twist.
I mean, it's crazy.
But it's like, we know it's all like manufactured drama,
Yeah.
but we still can't stop watching.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how reality TV just sucks us in.
Yes.
I mean, psychologists say that, humans, we have this thing, it's called schadenfreude.
Which is basically like we get pleasure from seeing other people in awkward situations.
Oh, so we kind of like to see people mess up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we know it's staged, or at least some of it is, but it's still entertaining. You know?
Right, exactly.
Like, is it real? Is it fake? That's part of the fun.
Totally.
Remember that lawsuit?
Yeah.
The one with the Real Housewives?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where that fan got sued for leaking spoilers?
Wild, right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it brought up these really interesting questions, like, how much control do the producers really have over these shows? And what happens when, real lives get mixed up in all this fake drama?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, like, where do you draw the line?
Exactly.
It's confusing, really.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, like, what's real and what's just made up for the cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of real versus fake, it leads us right into our next topic. Celebrity feuds.
Ah, yes.
Are they, like, actually feuding, or are they just doing it for publicity?
So hard to tell sometimes.
I know, right?
Like, remember that whole thing with Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny?
Oh, yeah.
They broke up like 4 days later.
I know.
And guess what? His album dropped at the same time.
Seriously.
I mean, come on.
Oh, okay. That's definitely suspicious.
Yeah.
Like, they planned the whole thing. It's
Oh.
so strategic. And what about Zendaya?
Oh, yeah.
On her Challengers press tour,
Uh-huh.
her stylist, Law Roach, he was, like, leaking her outfits online.
Oh, yeah.
Like, ahead of time to create, like, a buzz on social media.
Yeah, was that like spontaneous or was that a calculated move?
Who knows?
Right.
It's impossible to know for sure.
But it's like a game. It really is.
Yeah, it is a game. It's like part of the, the whole celebrity thing, I guess.
This PR guru, Sarah Jones, I was reading some of her stuff. She said that 80% of celebrity feuds are totally staged.
Seriously?
Just for publicity.
Wow, I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, like, that whole Cardi B and Ice Spice drama,
Yeah.
was that real or was that just a marketing tactic?
Who knows?
I guess we'll never know for sure.
Right. But it definitely makes you think twice about what you see,
Absolutely.
Like, is this real? Or are they just trying to get our attention?
Right, exactly.
Speaking of questioning what we see, we got a great question from a listener about adaptations.
Ooh, I love those listener questions. Let's hear it.
Yeah, at MovieBuff99 wants to know, and I'm kind of curious about this too, if Netflix's live-action Avatar remake is doomed.
Doomed, huh?
Yeah, like, is it going to flop after, One Piece just did so well?
It's a good question. What do you think?
Well, I love Avatar. I'm a huge fan. But honestly, I'm a little skeptical. I don't know. Unless they fix the casting for Uncle Iroh, I think it's going to be really hard to capture that, like, magic of the original.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, adapting something that people love, it's a tricky thing.
Right.
Like, you want to stay true to the original.
Yeah. But you also want to make it, fresh and make it work in this new way.
Totally.
It's like a balancing act.
It is.
Sometimes it works. Like One Piece, it totally nailed it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, it just misses the mark.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to the casting, the writing, like the overall vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the director, everyone. It's interesting, though, right? Like, thinking about these adaptations, it's like a reflection of our culture. Like, what stories are we drawn to?
Right.
What characters do we connect with?
Yeah.
And what does that say about, us?
That's a great point. It's like we're not just watching, we're like reflecting.
Exactly.
Deep, right.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like, it makes me think about some of these adaptations that are coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And how I feel about them. Like, there's that Percy Jackson series.
Oh, yeah. On Disney+.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. Because, like, I did not like those movies.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, not even a little bit.
I feel like they really missed something.
Yeah, they missed, like, everything that made those books so good.
Yeah.
But with this series, like, I feel hopeful.
You do? Why is that?
I think because, like, Rick Riordan, the author, he's, like, super involved.
Oh, that's a good sign.
So I'm like, okay, maybe, they'll get it right this time.
Right, fingers crossed.
But then, like, on the flip side, I'm kind of nervous about the whole Harry Potter reboot.
I've heard about that, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, those books and movies, like, that was my childhood.
For so many people.
Yeah, and it's just hard to imagine them being redone, you know?
Yeah, I totally get that. Like, those stories, they're so special.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, a new take can be cool, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe they'll see something new in the story.
Yeah.
Like, I think it depends, you know? Can you trust the filmmakers
Right.
to handle it, like, carefully? Yeah.
And bring something new.
Right.
But still, like, honor the original.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
It's like this whole conversation about adaptations.
Mhm.
It's like it all goes back to what we were saying before, you know, like about nostalgia
Yeah.
and wanting something new.
Exactly.
Like, how do you make both of those things work?
Right. We want to feel comfortable, but we also want to be surprised.
Yes. Like,
Yeah.
we're always looking for that sweet spot
Totally.
between, like, what we know and what we haven't seen before.
Right. And it's not just adaptations, you know, it's like everything.
Really?
Yeah. Like music, fashion,
Mm-hmm.
even like the news.
Wow. So it's like kind of a human thing.
I think so.
Like, we're always looking for that mix of the familiar and the new.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
So maybe, like, the secret to being successful in pop culture,
Uh-huh.
it's not about, you know, just following trends.
Yeah.
It's about, like, tapping into something deeper.
What do you mean? Like those things that everyone wants.
Oh,
okay. You know.
Like what?
Like connection, meaning, authenticity, you know, that real stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Like, it has to resonate with people.
Yeah. Yeah, like on a deeper level.
It can't just be flashy, right?
Yeah, it has to be more than that.
Like, it has to mean something.
Exactly. And like, think about how successful documentaries and podcasts are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people are really into them, you know, and I think it's because they're looking for something real.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Something, you know, raw, honest, something that feels genuine.
It's funny because it's like we're surrounded by all this, like, manufactured stuff.
Right, exactly.
Like perfect images, curated stories, but then we're like craving something real.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It's like a paradox.
Yeah.
But it makes you think, like, where do you find authenticity these days?
Right. Like in a world where everything is like staged and, you know, fake drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what feels real anymore? It's a good question. I don't know the answer.
That's a tough one. Like, it makes you question everything.
Yeah, it does.
Like, we have to be more careful
What do you mean?
about what we believe, like, be more critical.
Oh, like not just accept everything we see.
Right. Like, we have to think for ourselves.
Yeah, and look for those moments, like those real moments.
The genuine ones.
Yeah, that like cut through all the BS.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think that's what makes these like deep dives so interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not just about, you know, pop culture. It's about like us,
Okay.
you know, our values, our desires.
Yeah, like what matters to us.
Yeah, and trying to like understand the world, you know.
It's like a bigger conversation.
Yeah, it is. It's like it all comes back to like this one question, you know.
What's that?
If we know that so much of what we see is fake,
Yeah.
like what does real connection even look like?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. Especially now with, you know, social media and everyone trying to like present this perfect version of themselves.
Yeah, it's like we're all performing.
Right. It's tricky.
It is, and I think it's only going to get trickier
You think so?
as we, you know, move more and more online.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, it's up to us to figure out, like,
Right.
how to be real, how to connect.
Yeah, in this like digital world,
It's a challenge.
it is. It is. Well, on that note, I think we should shift gears one last time.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So we've been talking about this whole idea of finding like realness in pop culture,
Uh-huh.
you know, like genuine connection.
Yeah.
When there's so much like fake drama and carefully crafted stories everywhere.
Great. Like, is it even possible?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, can you actually have those real, authentic moments?
I think it's definitely a challenge, yeah.
Right.
But it's not impossible.
Okay, so like, what do we do?
Well, I think it's about being more aware
Aware of what?
of, like, everything that's going on behind the scenes, you know?
Oh, you mean like the motivations behind things?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
why is this celebrity feud happening?
What's the strategy behind this viral marketing campaign?
Okay.
And like, how are our own desires, like what we want, how is that being used?
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's kind of deep.
Yeah, it is.
But once you start to see it, you know, you can't unsee it.
So it's about being, like, more critical of what we're seeing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't just accept everything at face value.
Okay, so we need to be, like, skeptical, but also, like, open-minded.
Right. Because like those authentic moments, they do happen.
They do.
Yeah, they might be like rare,
Okay.
but they're out there.
So how do we spot them? Like, what should we be looking for?
It could be like a musician who's really pouring their heart into a song,
Okay. Yeah.
or an actor who's giving like a truly raw performance.
Yeah.
Or even, a reality TV contestant who like lets their guard down.
Right.
And you see a glimpse of like real emotion.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, we need to be paying attention.
Exactly. Like be present.
And when you see those moments, really appreciate them.
Yeah, like recognize how powerful they can be.
Yeah, because even though there's so much fake stuff out there,
Yeah.
there are still things that can connect us, inspire us.
Yeah, remind us that like real connection is still possible.
Right. Even in a world of manufactured drama.
It's like, we're not just talking about pop culture, are we?
What do you mean?
That's like, it's about understanding ourselves, understanding the world around us.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And like realizing how much our culture shapes, how we see things.
Absolutely. And how we think, like what we value.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why these deep dives are so cool.
I agree.
Because they make you think,
They make you question things.
And I think like the big takeaway is that we need to be more conscious.
More aware.
Yeah. About the pop culture we consume.
Yeah, like make choices that align with our values.
Exactly.
And support, artists and creators who are doing something different.
Like pushing boundaries.
Yeah, challenging the status quo.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into all these trends shaping pop culture.
In 2024.
Oh. Crazy, right? We want to leave you with this, okay? Like a challenge.
Okay, I like it.
Don't just consume pop culture. Engage with it.
Yeah, participate.
Yeah, and don't just accept what you see. Question it.
Be critical.
And be open to like being surprised.
Totally.
Because when we do that, we realize that pop culture isn't just like the superficial thing.
Yeah.
It's like it reflects who we are.
Where we've been and where we're going.
It's a reflection of our society.
Yeah, well said. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fun.
Yeah.